once the stuff of science fiction. Self-driving cars are now being tested around the world, including here in Boston. They hold the promise of everything from easing traffic congestion to letting us focus on our phones without posing a risk to everybody around us. So when do the machines take over the roads? As Stephanie Leyden reports, they've already begun.
In the movies, James Bond drives an Aston Martin. In reality, the latest model is closer than ever to driving itself.
We can actually pull the throttle away from the driver a little bit, back it off, and increase a little bit of braking pressure to help rotate the car to get you around that corner safely. And you, the driver, will never know this.
This car, a showpiece at the New England International Auto Show, is equipped with the same tiny sensors and cameras that will one day enable cars to fully drive themselves.
And then there's going to be a camera right here.
They're standard fare, not just on fantasy cars, but family cars, too.
There's cameras inside the car that work with the lines of the road. If you veer out of your lane, you'll hear a beep, 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 and then the car will make a one-time self-correction back to the center of its lane.
It does that by itself.
Does it by itself. Nothing drives itself yet.
Although this car may be close. Nutonomy, an MIT spin-off, is now testing its self-driving car in Boston's Seaport neighborhood, where it navigates construction, weather, and the limited patience of Boston drivers.
Boston is a challenge, but that's why we're here. So we want to put our car in challenging situations. That's the best way to improve the technology.
There's big money riding on the promise of this little car. The auto parts giant Delphi bought Nutonomy for $450 million, created a new company called Aptiv, and is opening a Boston robotics center dedicated to self-driving technology. Aptiv predicts we could be riding in self-driving vehicles, not cars, more likely multi-passenger vehicles, within the next couple of years.
For the cars that you and I drive, that's a bit of a longer time frame. We look at that as being more 2025, but that process starts here fairly quickly.
But MIT's Brian Reamer says not so fast.
Conceptually, we have made incredible strides in sensing, mapping, path planning, the fundamental core technologies here. But the last 5% is still to come. These are the difficult engineering problems that will take us time to get right.
Get it wrong, he says, and car companies risk alienating consumers. We may be okay with technology that keeps us from driving off the road, but Reamer's research shows in the last year, confidence in surrendering our steering wheels has dropped. It will take time to adjust to the idea, but Reamer says eventually we will. Is the dawn of the autonomous vehicle comparable to anything else we've seen in our society?
No, it's transformative change. Eventually, it will change everything about how we live and move.
And Stephanie Leyden joins me now. So that comment about totally transforming the way we move and live, what's he talking about?
Well, the idea is that self-driving cars won't so much be cars as they'll be vehicles that are shared. So you get taken to work in a self-driving vehicle, and rather than sitting in the parking lot, it's in constant use. So the idea is there are fewer vehicles on the road, ultimately. The city of Boston is looking at self-driving vehicles as part of its future transportation plan. They see it as a way to reduce congestion.
Interesting. So that almost becomes an argument, potentially, for not making investments in traditional public transit if this proliferates.
I think at this point the city sees it as a way to get people to public transit and reduce the number of cars potentially within city limits.
Now, how does that vision of communal travel square with the idea that people are going to be buying solo cars that was mentioned in your piece?
Right.
Are they hedging their bets? Or
I guess we'll have to see what the future yields. I mean, if we all trade in our current cars for self-driving cars, maybe we'll be sitting in worse traffic than we now experience. But we'll be on our phones and we won't be interrupted by what's happening on the road.
I wanted to ask you what it's like to sit in one of these things and allow yourself to be conveyed around it, giving up control. But they didn't let you do that, right? Why not?
As you can see, I was not in the car. They say they're not ready to let media travel in the self-driving car yet. They're testing it among select passengers at this point. They say eventually there will be a media day. I hope to be there, Adam.
All right, Stephanie Leyden, thank you.
You're welcome.